So guys, let's start from where we ended. We were on that why the FAR analysis is important. So there are 4 points which I have summed up in detail. Number 1, to identify an appropriate reward that each of the related parties should earn with respect to intercompany transactions under review. Number 2, to determine the economic characterization of the entities in the transaction and to select a tested party. Number 3, to determine the most appropriate method for benchmarking the transaction. Number 4, to identify any uncontrolled transaction involving one of the controlled parties. So, my FAR analysis is quite important. Number 1, to identify an appropriate reward. Number 2, to determine the economic characterization of the entities in the transaction and to select the tested party. Based on the FAR analysis, we do give a characterization to both the entities. That number 1, the taxpayer entity or the Indian entity, how is it? And how is the associated enterprise to be characterized? Number 3, to determine the most appropriate method for benchmarking the transaction. In our later sessions, we may cover that there are certain methods for charging in the case of international transactions. Most of them very important being cup method, TLMM. We will be discussing that in detail. So what will be the most appropriate method to benchmark the transaction? The FAR analysis would be helpful in facilitating understanding that. 4th, to identify any uncontrolled transaction involving one of the controlled parties. When we do any analysis, there has to be certain inputs which have to be put in the FAR analysis. Only then the accurate output would come out of the FAR analysis. Obviously, when we are doing certain kind of analysis, we will want to come at certain conclusion. But it is very important that the facts or the inputs which I am going to put into my analysis should be quite accurate. Because there is a very common synonym, again which I remember, that garbage in, garbage out. So the facts or the inputs need to be really very accurate. What all inputs I would require for doing my FAR analysis? Number 1, functions, assets and risk. Natural functions, assets and risk. Secondly, agreements. There may be certain agreement or maybe contract between the taxpayer and its associated enterprises. So we will need to study that as well. Number 3, financial results. What is the financial result, quarterly result or the biannually, half yearly and the annual results of both the entities. Number 4, organizational staff. Many times we hear a director who is very successful in handling the board of a esteemed organization. If he or she joins the board of our company, it automatically increases to the repute and the personality of our organization as well. And the people are quite interested in knowing that who will be the top brass of the company and who will be joining the board and who is running the show basically. So very important to understand how is the organizational staff of the company in question. Forecast or business plans. Why the forecast or business plans are important? There are many startups these days who are running into losses, cash losses, big cash losses. They don't have any profitability. But what they have is the forecast. They have the forecast of the next 5 years or the next 10 years maybe in which some profit is earned. So if the company's present is zero profit or losses, that can't be the determining factor. We have to understand and read the next forecast and the next business plans of that particular organization. Then comes the business processes. Very important needs to be studied while doing FAR analysis. Also business processes. We need to understand the business process, which is very unique and very distinct for every organization. Even in the same kind of industry, the process flow of organization to organization is quite different. And last but not the least, markets or competition needs to be studied. We need to understand kind of a market organization and how much competition is there in the market. Then comes the outputs of analysis. Once we put in the accurate facts and the form of inputs in FAR analysis, the next step is to find out what are the outputs of this FAR analysis. Number one, internal comparables. What we get out of this FAR analysis, we get to know who all internal comparables. Because many times the organizations which are very big and have diversified businesses, they find an organization similar to their size of employees and their kind of industry in their own particular group of companies. They don't need to find out some external comparables. Number two, basis to external comparables. Number three, risk and opportunity assessment. Number four, determination of the most appropriate method. Number five, characterization of the entities. Number six, documentation. The FAR analysis in itself has to be well documented. Pricing policy and understanding of business. Very important. What is the main output of FAR analysis? That we understand the business very well. With the help of FAR analysis, it's very easy for you, for a professional, to understand the business model, to understand what all risks can be, challenges or threats can be faced by this kind of a company. Process of I would like you to understand the process of FAR analysis. First of all, the first most important step in this would be FAR planning process. Without planning, we can't undertake a good FAR analysis. Second thing is FAR interviews. We need to prepare certain questions. The detailed questionnaires, if prepared really well, will be quite useful in this FAR analysis. Number third, FAR documentation is also very important step. Likewise, the process flow would be, first of all, understanding the organization structure. What kind of a company, or what kind of a company, in which kind of industry my company is falling in. My company has presence in which all the foreign countries. It has presence in, let's suppose, US, UK, India and China. So that will be a very important factor. Number two, activities. Which country performs which activity, that needs to be written out in black and white. For example, Indian entity does research and development, US does strategy and marketing, UK does marketing, China does manufacturing. Then comes the functions. Which all countries performs which functions? For example, US. What does US do? It identifies the products, lays the business strategy, budgets and forecasts, gets regulatory clearances, markets and sells. Number two, UK gets regulatory clearances, markets and sells. Number third, India. India conducts R&D, sells. And number four, China. What does China do? China manufactures and sells. Key factors in FAR analysis. So I will be summing up the key factors. What are the key factors in FAR analysis? Number one, functions performed may be few but significant. The functions, we are not going to analyze each and every function. We have to analyze only the critical functions. They may be few but they may be significant. Identify each party's contribution, that is taxpayer and the A's associated enterprises contribution. Aggregation of international transactions. Sheer volume of functions performed is not decisive. What is relevant is the relative importance of each function. कितना वॉल्यूम है उस फंक्शन का, ये इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. What is important is how relevant or how important is that particular function. Then comes another branch, FAR analysis of intangibles. Like I said, for some organizations they don't have any significant fixed assets on their balance sheet. Neither do have significant bank balance. But what do they have is their intangibles. The copyright, the goodwill, the patents. That increases the valuation of the entity as a whole. So it's very important that the FAR analysis of intangibles should be done in great depth and detail. What we'll be doing in that detail is, number one, identify the intangibles used or transferred. Number two, identify the full commitments. So this is all from my today's session. Bye friends.